Greetings, mesdames and messieurs. Okay, so baby, I seen you skinning a marten and taking your time, and you weren't sure about the tail stripper and all that stuff. And anyways, you know where this is going. So I have a mink here that Curly Beard picked up, a whole mink that Curly Beard picked up, and a little wee female marten. Not really liking the female part of the marten, but what can you do? Okay, so starting with every animal here. I'll readjust this here. Clean, brush.
No tail, no good.
Thanks, honey. Alright, so that number one is prepped. When I have a lot of small animals to do, I prep them all and then I just go through them. So the minky pie. Be camera shy, it looks like a male. And indeed is a male. My ratio on mink has been good this year. Marten, not so much. Okay, so now that that's done, I nip the paws right away. Front paws, both animals. Everything's nice and clean. I'll show you on the marten here. I like to clamp them to the table rather than put them on the gambrel right away. Clamp the back leg when I stretch them out. They're nice, clean and dry. Not so much on marten, but on muskrats you'll actually see a line going right across, and you just cut the line. So I start at the back ankle on one foot and I go straight across to the other one. Now that that's done, I clamp both feet. Well, I do. Usually I use two separate clamps. Take a knife and make a small incision at the base of the tail. Hopefully the camera's picking all this up. And then I just join up the marks. I find it easier with a straight knife. You can use a hook blade, you can use whatever you want. And then it's just a matter of going right to one slice, other side. Same thing, just go from that incision you made right to the other incision. Hopefully this is all getting picked up by the camera. Okay, so now the cutting. I don't do much by way of cutting on the back end. I just free them up, or her up in this case. The meat just rolls. You use your thumb, you can roll the meat right off. Now that I'm through, I pull up somewhere around the ankle, nip it off. Go back to the hips, right to the base of the tail. So there, one side's already done. Do the same thing on the other side. If you can, keep the fur folded back. And then it's just a matter of, I hold the skin and then with my left thumb I just roll it. Once I'm halfway around the leg, I'll switch and use my right fingers right on through. Again, I go to the ankle or just a little north of the ankle, slice it up. Spread it down to the hips, right to the base of the tail. So there, now you can see the tail's exposed, a little bit of the belly's exposed. If I am going to do any knife work on these things, it's usually right in here. And that goes with every animal. Males, you have his little unit to worry about. Females, well, not so much. So there, now that the belly's started, the hips are free, the base of the tail is free. Not sure how I'm going to capture this. We'll just play it by ear. Here's a regular tail stripper. You can use a piece of rolled up paper towel, you can use your fingernail. You put the tail stripper at the base of the tail. Close her up. You apply light pressure to keep this closed. You don't want to dig into the meat. Now the trick with stripping the tail, you pull on the hips of the animal. So I like get my thumb in underneath the tail and then I just roll it. If you notice, the skin is starting to, you didn't put enough pressure. Usually once you get it rolling, it's as simple as that. And that's it. That's the tail. As far as splitting the tail, be easier once I get the hide off of it. We'll switch over to the gambrel. Sure how well you guys are picking up on any of this. Okay. So before I used to cut right around. If you nip the Achilles tendon, you got nothing to hang them off of. So if you can save the Achilles tendon, that's great. He's hanging. I've noticed on a lot of animals, if I hang them by one foot and start pulling, I rip the belly open. So I grab them by both, and then it's just you don't want to grab the legs and yank. You'll rip them in half. Don't ask me how I know. You want to keep as close to where the skin meets the flesh, and then it just comes off like a sock. His front legs are exposed. I take my thumb, just dig it in, tug and pull and tug and pull, and bang. And then a little more pulling exposes the earbuds. Cut the earbuds 90 degrees, makes a nice small little wee hole in them, or her in this case. You go too deep, you nick the jugular like I just did. And then it's just pull and cut the white. So you pull wherever you see white fleshy bits, cut it. Pull, cut the white, pull, cut the white. The eyes, you're best to start behind the eye and work towards the eye. Usually I can do one spot on and one I bugger up. And that's it, just work around the base of the skull. The knife is 90 degrees to the skull, well, except for where the cartilage is here around the eye. Cut the lip. Cut the lip. once I have enough, and this goes with every animal, whether it's wolf, otter, well, maybe not so much muskrats, but as soon as I can get my finger in there, give them a shave all the way down to the nose. Cut the nose off, cut the bottom lip off. And that's it. That's all there is to it. So that's the marten done. At one point in time they used to want the jawbones of these guys. The bottom jaw and tagged, and so let's see what you guys are actually seeing. Not too much on that scale. So yeah, that's skinning a marten. Alright. I've already got him fleshed, or her fleshed. She's on the board, first side in until she dries out a little bit, and then I'll flip it over. Trying to keep you as close to the action as I can here. Alright, splitting the tail. This is my go-to knife. I also have the tail stripper. I have whatever. I have used these in the past. This little curve here sometimes screws you over and you end up with a forked tail. I like just the straight knife. He's on the board, or she's on the board. No pins in her, laying flat on a beaver board or a bench or whatever. Pull the tail, put the knife in. If your knife is sharp, all you have to do is push. If it's dull, well, then you gotta cut. And that's it. Tail's done. Like I say, with a little bit of practice. This is the way I was taught. Other people do things differently, of course. Glad I could show you. Okay, I'm going to get him pinned up, then we'll do the mink, and then I'm going to challenge myself on skinning a beaver a different way. Okay, mink. Done exactly the same way as the marten. Fisher I do the same way. Otter I do the same way, except for you can't pull the tail. Wolves, lynx, the bigger animals I have to hang them off the gambrel. Mink are done the same way. You let them fall. You can see there's kind of a line right here. Again, I just go from ankle to ankle, right straight across. Like so. Try this one with a hook blade. Small incision, base of the tail. You don't have to do this. And then just join up the cuts. One side always works well for me. The other side doesn't usually work out as well. Just need more fingers. Ooh. Trying to squirt at me. And that's it. And then exactly the same way as the marten. Mink have quite a bit more fat on them. So sometimes I have to do a little more knife work on mink than on marten. Principles are all the same. Free up the legs, split it off around the ankle, free up the base of the tail, strip the tail, you're good to go. So I'm up to the ankle, free up the base of the tail. Those are his musk glands. And on this one it is a he, so a little bit of knife work. I'm glad to see the mink are healthy. fingy. Free it up to the ankle, nip it off, right back to the base of the tail. Now that the base of the tail is exposed, tail splitter. This is usually where the mink squirts. Again, you want to pull on the animal. You don't want to pull on the tail. You pull the tail, you're going to pull it right off. And it's just that simple. Now, I think this is number 14 on the mink side of things. You don't have to put them on the gambrel. I'll show you that right now. Just keep working them. You've got a lot of fat on them, which is good. One leg, the other leg. Let's see if you guys are picking this up. Yeah, okay. And then same thing as the marten. Earbuds, and then just work it. Now when I'm skinning them this way, I use my pointer finger and my thumb, and I'm constantly kind of pinching off their bottom jaw and their nose. Just keeps the hide tight. And just shave them. All the way down to the nose. Once you got the nose free, I just go straight on through, cut off the bottom lip. That's it, that's your mink. Not sure what the time is, but it doesn't take very long. It's like anything else, the more you do, the better you get. Where's my flushing? So this is 1.5 inch ABS. Yeah, there we go. Every animal under the armpit. For fleshing these guys, I just use a knife with a stiff back. This is one that I usually use to cut the beaver feet off. I use the back of the knife. You want to get most of this fat out. You can't take the saddle off the mink, otherwise it renders them useless, just like in muskrats. And again, the more you do, the better you'll get a feel for it. There's really nothing to them. As the old one that I started off under used to say, if you're not sure, less is more with a mink. Since mink are fur in, as they dry, the grease will dry and run out, so you just give them a wipe down. It just takes them longer for them to dry. I'm not putting much effort, much torque on this. Do the other side. That is pretty good. That's really all there is to a mink. Let's see if I can find more for him. Here's one that I've previously done. If you're not sure when to take an animal off the board, always check the nose. Once the nose is dry, the animal's dry. I'm hoping you guys are seeing all this. I don't go crazy with pins. Not saying you have to, but so there's the minky pie. While you're here, I'll show you his boarding him. Pardon me. Now I kind of goobered up a little bit here. I should have stripped the tail before I put the pins in them. No bother. Knife is getting dull. This guy here usually ends up splitting tail on me. Run my fingers down it just to open it up a little bit. Make sure there's no blood hiding down in there. I don't pull too tight. Just enough to make them sit on there nice. And then here's something that Smokey showed me. It works great. Presentation's awesome. Best of all, it takes no time at all when it's done. That's it. I'm not sure what the elapsed time was, but 10 minutes or so, done a mink. Alright. Okay, I'm going to clean up and get ready for this beaver.